are grateful to our sponsors, Kelly Stafford with Stafford Tree Service and also Kow Cow Manure. If you need your trees trimmed locally, remember Stafford Tree Service at staffordtreesvc.com. And please visit Kow Cow Manure, that's K-O-W. Remember, both of the contact details are in the description below. Let me tell you about the criteria of the Echeveria. And isn't that a cute way to bring out a plant? This plant is a cute little plant. Sometimes in this family there are some varieties called hen and chickens. And it's just because they're cute little plants that often people will keep as a desk plant on their desk at work. In fact, when I worked many years ago at the Extension Service, where I spent 8 years, a lady named Opal, who was a great horticulturist, by the way, who was passed on, used to have a small little hens and chicken on her desk. And it reminded me of her when I thought of this particular plant. Now this one's a little larger. This one, of course, has nice symmetry. Most of them do. And that's one of the reasons they are so enjoyed. They're a tough plant. If you talk about xeriscape, and I know a lot of people like to say xeroscape, but it's really not. Xera, going back, meaning dry. That's what we're looking for, a plant that can tolerate really low water conditions. So if you had a rock garden, or if you had some type of garden that just didn't get much water, this plant would be an excellent choice. Now I know we think of cacti. This is really a succulent, but cacti and succulents are usually sold in the same part of the nursery because their conditions that they need are very similar. Because they're relatively slow growers, they don't need probably as much fertilizer or as much water as most other plants. But that's also one of their beauties, that you've got something that will survive even if you tend to forget something for a while. So if you're one of those brown thumbers who says, I kill every plant I ever came across, this might be a choice for you. The Echeveria. Now this one, of course, we could sometimes call it a smart plant, and only smart and that it will survive. It will survive when many other plants won't. So that's pretty important. It has a nice little tinge of kind of a reddish color to the edge. You'll find these sometimes in kind of purple, kind of blue, kind of orange, and kind of new. So you'll see them in all kinds of conditions and colors, but they all seem to have this kind of rosette formula. Now, this plant is from Mexico and some of the areas near Mexico. It was first described by a man named Echeveria, who saw the plant and said, this is a pretty plant. I'll start doing some artwork and using this plant, and it became a plant that collectors started to collect in their gardens, especially in Europe, because they were unusual. You can imagine if you had a greenhouse, you might wish to have something like this to kind of counterbalance something like an impatient or something that's more upright. So it's a lower growing plant that you might grow in a rock garden, as we mentioned, or in a botanical garden, or maybe just on your desk at your office, because you want to have something that reminds you of plants and life and something that's beautiful. If you enjoyed this, of course, and other segments, we appreciate when you tell your neighbors and friends about our show. And you've all done a wonderful job of getting other folks to become subscribers, and we appreciate that. So thank you once again, as always, for watching.